Okay, our next area of review is going to be finding surface area of rectangular prisms. So let's take a look at some vocabulary. Surface area is the total amount of the area of the faces of a rectangular prism. We're specifically working with rectangular prisms today. Three-dimensional shapes are 3D, three dimensions of length, width, and height. Those are the three things that we're really going to be focusing on. And the edges, the side of a polygon or line segment where two faces of a solid figure meet. We use our edges to find our surface area, and I'll review that with you here in just a minute. So how to find surface area? Surface area is the sum of the area of each face of a three-dimensional figure. For formula for finding areas, area equals length times width times height, or length times width. To find surface area, label your figure with length, width, and height. Okay, this is our length, this is our width, and this is our height. And then we have our numbers for that. For our height, we have 10 centimeters. For our length, we have 30 centimeters. And for our width, we have 10 centimeters. So we go ahead and label. Now, remember what I told you, when it comes to your state test, you can do a quick sketch. It doesn't have to be pretty. It can be pretty messy, but as long as you get the idea, here's my length, here's my width, here's my height. And you can solve the problems fairly simple when you have that information. So first of all, label your figure with length, width, and height. Then, so again, label your figure. And if we did that, like we did on the last one, our length is 30 centimeters. Our width is 10 centimeters. And our height is 10 centimeters. Now we write the formula for each face. So again, our length is 30 centimeters, our width is 10 centimeters, and our height is also 10 centimeters. Now if you recall, we look at this face times 2, we look at this face times 2, and we look at this face times 2. And the reason we look at times 2 is because the parallel faces of those are equal to them. So if we write the formula, let's look at what I highlighted in red here. So we have our length times our height, which is equal to 30 times 10, and that's times 2. If we look at what I highlighted in green, that's our width times our height, which is 10 times 10 times 2. And then what we highlighted in blue is our length times our width. Okay, so that would be 30 times 10 times 2. Once we write our formula, it's pretty simple from there. We take 30 times 10, which would be 300. 300 times 2 would be 600. 10 times 10 is 100. Times 2 would be 200. And then we know 30 times 10 times 2, we just figured that above, would be 600. And what do we do with those three numbers? We add them together. Okay, 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 2 is 1,400 centimeters would be our surface area for this figure. And that's what we just did. We solved based on our formulas. Okay, so let's do some examples real quick. So our length is 5 inches. Our width is 2 inches. And our height is 7 inches. Okay, so we want to know what this one is. This times 2. And this one as well. All of these times 2. Okay, so let's look at what's in our red. We have our length times our height. We have 5 inches times 7 inches. All of that times 2. For what's highlighted in green, we have width times height. So we have 2 inches times 7 inches, all of that times 2. And what's highlighted in blue is our length times our width, which is 5 inches, times 2 inches, all of that times 2. 5 times 7 is 35, 35 times 2 is 70. 2 times 7 is 14, 14 times 2 is 28. 5 times 2 is 10, times 2 is equal to 20. We add all three of those up together. We have 8 and 11. 118 inches for our surface area. Okay, another example, our length is 12 centimeters. Our width is 9 centimeters. And our height is 8 centimeters. Okay, and we're going to figure out this space times 2, this space times 2, and this space times 2. So let's do this front face. We have our length, which is 12 centimeters, times our height, which is 8 centimeters, times 2. Our green, we have 9 for our width and 8 for our height. 9 centimeters times 8 centimeters times 2. And then for our top and bottom, we have a length of 12 centimeters times our width, which is 9 centimeters. All of that times 2. So now we just need to do the math here. So we take 12 times 8 is equal to 96. 96 times 2 is 192. 9 times 8 is 72. Times 2 is 144. And 12 times 9 times 2 is 216. Add those three together. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 9 and 1 is 10, 14, 15. 2, 3, 4, 5. 552 centimeters squared. And I should have put that on the others as well. Centimeters squared. Okay, your turn. I want you to look at this, pause the video, take a second, figure it out, and then see if you get the same answer that I do. 8 inches for our length, 3 inches for our width, and 4 inches for our height. So this space would be 8 times 4 times 2. This space would be 3 times 4 times 2. And this space would be 8 times 3 times 2. Eight times 4 times 2 would be 64. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24, times 2 is 48. Add those up together. 8 and 8 is 16, 10, 12, 13, 136 inches squared. Is that what you got? I hope so. We're going to do one more. Okay, so I should have the length here. My mistake. Length is 7 inches. My width is 13 inches. And my height is 3 inches. This face, and this face, all of these, of course, times our 2. Okay, so for this front face, we would say our length times our height, so 7 times 3 times 2. For our sides, we have 13 times 3 times 2. And for our top and our bottom, we have 7 times 13 times 2. 7 times 3 is 21, times 2 is 42. 13 times 3 is 39, times 2 is 78. 7 times 13 is 91, times 2 is 182. Add those up together. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 7 is 12, plus 8 is 20. Carry my 1 and 3. 302 inches squared. All right. Hope this helps.